What's up, G's?
We back.
Welcome back to our channel. Now that the Olympic Games 2024 are over, and as we're preparing for 2028 in LA, City of Angels, we decided to do a few videos preparing for the up and coming NBA season. We're gonna do videos focused on the teams that we feel most excited about. If we have time, we'll do videos on all 30 teams, but we'll see. So comment below if you want us to do this review video on your favorite team, or if there's anyone specific you'd like us to cover. We'd love to hear from you guys. We appreciate the support. As you can see, the challenge is growing, but we do need your help. So comment, subscribe, like our videos, and we'll go from there. So today's team, or for our first NBA preseason coverage, we're going to focus on the Golden State Warriors.
So we're gonna review basically the ending will be where we predict the Warriors what they'll do this year, but we'll first look at who they got in the offseason, who they lost, and our expectations for those players.
Maybe we start with where they ended last season.
Yeah.
So they squeaked by into the
play-in
tournament from the 10th seed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I think they played the Kings and lost.
Yeah, lost first game and didn't make the playoffs after winning the championship 2 years ago.
Yeah, they ended with a 46-36 record, tied with the Kings for last in the Pacific and 10th in the West. They didn't do well, basically.
Yeah, they finished behind the Clippers, Phoenix Suns, and LA Lakers.
For a season that people expected to be better, it was not great. If we look at let's look at the players who left first.
Two big names there.
Yeah, two big names. We did lose Chris Paul.
Old man Paul.
I mean, he wasn't great.
He was old though.
Yeah, he was old, and he led the team in assists. That's like all he did.
Yeah, that's what they brought him in for gameplay.
And he was on a 1-year contract, nothing crazy. We lose him, and as I think everyone knows now, Klay Thompson.
50% of the Splash Brothers are gone. We're now down to one Splash Brother.
Well, it's okay because now we'll have the Splash Buddies. We'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Coming in, we have Kyle Anderson. Last season,
I think he played for the Grizzlies.
Yeah, he played for the Timberwolves. He played for the Timberwolves, had a solid stat, 6 points, 4 rebounds, somehow 4 assists. I'd never see him getting 4 assists in a game, but
he's not young either.
No.
This is now his 11th season.
Yeah, he's old. He'll be another nice role player off the bench. Our next player who we signed, DeAnthony Melton.
Yep, Melton.
He came from, I believe, the Sixers. Played really well off the bench. He had a lot of playing time because they had a few injuries at the beginning of the season. So he averaged 11 points, 4 rebounds, and 3 assists. Not great shooting, but he'll be a great backup point guard to basically replace Chris Paul.
Funny fact about Milton, he looks really old, but he's only 26 years old.
He looks like he could be 33 right now.
Easily combats with...
we'll add a little picture you guys can see. But
yeah, he doesn't look young.
No.
All right, who's the third pickup?
Our Splash Buddy, Buddy Hield.
Yeah, now we're Splash Buddies, no more brothers.
Yeah.
I ain't no brother, I ain't your buddy, maybe.
Buddy Hield, who's also not very young anymore.
Yeah. Deep in his 30s, he's 31.
Really?
Yes,
31? Wow.
31.
He looks like he could be 26. And Melton, I don't know.
Yeah, Milton is... It's amazing. Milton's 26. This guy looks like he's 40.
Yeah, Buddy.
Tell us about Buddy. Where is he coming from?
He averaged... he came from the Sixers, I believe. He didn't play much. It might have been the Sixers or the Pacers. I'm not sure. He averaged 12 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists on okay shooting. A good 3-point shooter.
Yeah. That's why they call him now the Splash Buddies. Because he's supposed to replace Klay with the 3-point shooting. Yeah. And we know Klay and hitting it.
Yeah. Klay is 0 for 10 in the play-in tournament.
Yes,
okay.
Sir. Other key players.
So players that we think who could evolve more this season. Our rookie from last year, we had Podziemski.
Brandon.
His stats don't show how well he played. I would say personally, it says he averaged 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 assists. I distinctly remember him having stretches of 5 games with 20 points in a row, but I do think he'll improve to 14 points a game this season. Rebounds will stay around the same, maybe even less, and assists will stay the same. He's definitely going to get a lot more minutes now with Klay Thompson out of his position.
Well, he's their backup guard now that Chris Paul is gone too.
Yeah, no, he's going to start probably shooting guard. We'll get to what we think the starting lineups will be.
You think 4 guards, the starting lineup?
We'll see.
All right.
Our next player.
Clayfingers?
We have, Moses Moody we're not really going to look at, but I do think he'll improve a little more too. If we look at Kuminga, who I think will improve the most,
third season.
Yeah, he averaged 16 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists on 52% shooting. That's really good. And I think Kerr was not playing him a lot in his past 2 seasons. I think this year he will improve to 20 points a game, honestly. I think he's really underrated. And I think the more development he gets, especially in this Warriors culture, the better he'll play.
Yeah, he's young, he's hungry. I think Kerr doesn't like his three-point shooting. He's not shooting really well from three.
Yeah.
But from the field, he's a really good shooter, more than 50%. He got his minutes. He played average 26.4 minutes per game last season. I agree. He has a chance for a very good season coming up.
And last player, we're looking at Trace Jackson Davis. And he showed out in the Summer League. He played really well. A lot of people know him for dunking on Wemby. He had 8 points. He averaged 8 points, 5 rebounds, 1 assist on 70% from the field, which shows you he's not shooting enough. If he's shooting 70% from the field, I think he'll get more minutes this year. He'll improve. I think this team has a good future, and that's why if we look at the fact that they didn't trade for any big piece like Lauri Markkanen or something, yeah, you're not kind of tapping into Curry's last few years and Draymond's last few years, but you're keeping the young players that could be, your future in the next 5 years.
Yeah, and he was a really good college basketball player.
For Indiana, yeah.
So I agree, he has a lot of potential. And interestingly enough, again, looking at the roster and the salary cap, there are not a lot of expensive players on the roster.
No.
Clearly, the most expensive is Senor Curry, worth every dime with a supermax contract.
Yeah.
And then the other well-paid players are Wiggins, who is, it is what it is, and Draymond. No one else is making a lot of money.
I mean, if we look at this team, Gui Santos, we talked about in the Olympics, Jerome Robinson, Lester Quinones, Quinton Post, Daquan Plowden.
Of course, Daquan. How can you forget Daquan?
Usman Garuba.
They have a lot of two-way contract players, and their roster is going to probably change before the season starts. That often is what happens after the summer league and before they actually lock in rosters. So we don't know how the roster is going to look like exactly, and they still might sign a big name.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot of players out there, but who knows what will happen. Let's see what we think their starting lineups will be. So, the starting lineup. I believe...
Curry's probably going to start on the bench.
Yeah, I think he'll be benched.
Yeah.
He didn't play well in those Olympic games. I think they'll bench him for a little.
Not worth risking him.
But, seriously... I think Curry will be at the point guard, Podziemski at the 2, Wiggins at the 3, Kuminga. I don't know, it depends on if they're playing small ball or not. If they play small ball, they'll play Kuminga at the 4 and Draymond at the 5. Or Wiggins will come off the bench. They'll have Kuminga at the 3, Draymond at the 4, and Looney at the 5. I mean, what I like about their roster is there's many different ways you can have a starting lineup. And, Kerr being having his experience, he'll find a way to make the lineups be as good as possible.
Honestly, I actually think they might play Kyle Anderson at the 5.
Yeah,
they have a small roster. I think the tallest player is this Quinton Post on a 2-way contract from Boston College, who I doubt I'll see the floor.
They signed him this year.
Yeah, he's young as a 2-way. I doubt he's gonna play much. The second tallest player are basically Kyle Anderson, who is a solid player, not an amazing player, but a good one. And Looney, which, has his liabilities. So I actually would not be surprised if Kyle Anderson sees the 5. Otherwise, if we go with the first line like you mentioned, it means that their 5 is 6'6".
Yeah.
And this is a league with the likes of Wembanyama, with the likes of AD. This is going to be tough under the baskets.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I do hope they sign some center. Anyone, honestly. Get like Daniel Tice, who hasn't played a lot, but he played well in the Olympics for Germany. Get somebody like that who you don't need to spend a lot on, but you get like a good centerpiece, which has been an issue for a while on this team.
Yeah, the Warriors have been struggling with their 5s for years now. After Wiseman, the Wiseman bust.
Yeah. My predictions for this team, I think they'll be like a 6 or 7 seed. Maybe they scratch non-play-in tournament. I think they'll make the playoffs because I do think the West is strong, but it wasn't as strong as it was last year. And I think we'll see the playoffs, whether we get in from the play-in tournament or we get in from the playoffs. I think they'll make it there. I don't think they'll make a deep run, but you never know. You do have Curry on this team. Curry can lead you anywhere, as we've seen in the Olympics with the Serbia and the the final game.
France. Yeah.
France. Yeah.
So I think if they don't pick up a big name and like one of the major players out there, and there's not a lot left to be traded.
What do you mean? We got Daquan Plowden.
Yeah, behind him, something slightly better, which is a very low bar. I don't think they make the playoffs. I agree they may have a shot at the play-ins from like a 10th seed or a 9th seed, but it didn't pan well over the last few years when the Warriors were not ranked high enough, because then they usually bounce out either in the play-in or in the first round. Also, it's very dependable on how Curry and Buddy are going to play together. Are they actually going to be the splash buddies or the splash enemies?
if
Trademark reserved. Keep it fresh.
Buddies, if they're the splash buddies, they could go far, because just that 3-point shooting, if you look at like, I don't know, I mean, if we're calling them splash buddies, you're looking at, I don't know, 6 or 7 threes a night combined from both of them. That gets you far. 21 points just off threes from them too. You don't look at the other part of the roster. If you're looking at another 20 from Kuminga, the 15 we mentioned from Podziemski, I mean, this could be a team that averages 120 points a game if they can play efficiently. If Buddy Hield is what we think he'll be, if Curry stays at his level,
if Wiggins shows up
and doesn't have another family problem and leaves the team for 4 months,
Yep.
I think it's possible that they do well. The expectations are not very high for this team after last season, and I think that relieves some pressure. You don't have Chris Paul on the court, so you lose out on the assists and the control
and a playmaker.
So we'll see. I'll be there to watch it. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think the Warriors trading
Clay
was their decision to kind of try and go a different direction.
Yeah, I think that was a good decision. I mean, Clay, he didn't like being there. I mean, the Warriors were willing to sign him, from what I've heard, but he wasn't willing to wait for the contract.
And he wanted a bigger contract and a bigger role, and they wouldn't commit to it because he wasn't playing as well coming back from that injury.
Yeah, and we look at what they got for him. They got, I believe it was 2 second-round picks, which they turned into Anderson, Hield, and Melton, which I think is a good trade-off if you're looking at Clay.
Yeah. So yeah, I agree. I mean, the sky's the limit for this team. Any team that Curry plays on and they're being coached by Kerr, the sky's the limit. They could do everything. Yeah. They won 4 championships out of 8 years. They missed the playoffs last year, but in 2022 they won the championship. So they have the talent, they have the experience, they have the grit. It all depends on how this new lineup gels.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. This roster, apparently, like this team, I believe 2 years ago in 2022 or 3, it might have been then, they were one of the oldest teams in the league.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be looking a lot younger, I think more in the middle area, since they have a lot of these Daquan Plowdens on their team. I don't know, I like saying his name.
Yeah, again, if Curry stays healthy, Curry is now 36, he's not young. Draymond is 34. They traded Clay, who's also in his mid-30s. So the stars are not young, but otherwise the rest are in their 20s.
Yeah.
Or at least look like they're in there are 20, even if they look like they're in their 40s or 50s.
If we look at Jerome Robinson for
example,
a second, him and Melton look like they could be 35 each.
Agreed. Although they're in the 20s.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be an interesting season, no doubt.
Yep. Next video, I don't know who we'll talk about. Maybe we'll look at
I think we do the Lakers.
Mavericks, Lakers. We're going to do more popular teams.
Yeah, we're going to start with the big contenders.
If you're a fan of a smaller team, let us know. We'll make a video on that.
As somebody said, the Piston Bullets.
Yeah, Piston Bullets. Sure. Look at the 1950 season and what we expect.
Yeah, the sky's the limit for this team.
Yeah.
They can actually
Manute Bol.
Manute Bol, the star.
Exactly.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Keep it fresh, Subway. Lines are open, waiting for the call. Make sure you subscribe, follow us. We'll do another team review in the coming days. And again, thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Peace out, G's.
Peace out. Keep fresh.
Fresh.
Subway sponsor, please.
Fresh.